I'm going live on my thingies. Oof. So funny. That's hilarious. Anybody seeing the adoption page for, I guess, animals like a dating site? That may say a lot. It does. Okay. Hi, you guys. I'm going live on all my platforms right now at this moment. I'm going live on Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. I did a poll on TikTok, and I'm hoping that you guys see it and will answer it. Like I'm really trying my hardest to do this, like this interactive thing. It seems like when it comes to the interaction thing, it seems very touch and go. It seems very touch and go. Well, some people don't. I guess you give them an option to say something or whatever, and they don't want to. I don't know. Oh, well, thank you very much. R. Kelly. Okay, first of all, Finn, thank you. Pretty lady says. R. Kelly, you know anyone who wants to go out for a happy meal? You want to hear something funny? I know that person's, definitely trolling, but I actually saw R. Kelly um before all that stuff went down, like at a place called what is it called? The Sugar Bar in Manhattan. And you know, it's it's interesting because he was with a girl, a young girl, a very young girl, a very young girl that looked very much so like Aaliyah. And they were dressed like with a lumberjack, which like back in the day. And it was just striking. It was like, huh, that girl looks just like Aaliyah. What in the world's going on? And then a few months later, that whole thing blew up with him and the whole young girl stuff, and it finally came out and all that stuff. And yeah, yeah, that was interesting. That was very interesting. Um, I'm trying to share my screen on what you call it, but the coolest thing was he's saying this is back in the day when he was okay to sing and there was no cancel R. Kelly. So it was a treat. We're all like, what? R. Kelly came, and he made up a song on the spot. R. Kelly came to the Sugar Bar in Manhattan, made up a song on the spot. He was kind of tipsy, I'm sure, but sang, and the whole place was like, yes! And that place is full of singers, so there was like harmony. It was pretty awesome. And I'm not saying that I agree with anything. I'm just telling you the experience before R. Kelly got canceled because somebody asked about R. Kelly. Um, okay, if he knew anybody, he said R. Kelly asks, "You know anyone who wants to go out for a happy meal?" Well, I'll tell you one thing, R. Kelly. That person was not out there for a happy meal. They were singing and drinking and having a good time, and he wouldn't bring her there. That's cheap. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Okay, you top of the hour, love one. Oh, hi. Happy meals are smacking. Okay, is that a Jewish star born, hun? Sieg. I can't. Sergeant, is it? I don't know. SIGEP per. You. I'm talking to you. Yes, my good friend. It is. It's the Star of David. Thank you. Thank you for noticing. I'm having the darndest. Let me quit this because I'm not able to share my video on my Telegram. By the way, you guys, I have a Telegram group. I do not do. I technically have a Facebook group, but I'm stepping away. I'm stepping away from Facebook for a little bit when it comes to that. So Telegram, you can come in there, ask me questions. We can talk about manifesting. Um, we're not talking about anything else other than manifesting, which is everything. Okay. So it can be very personal. It can be like, out there. Do you understand the Torah? I do not know how to read and write Hebrew, although I know I can recognize letters. I can be like, oh, I know that. That's Gimel, Aleph, Kof. I might be saying it wrong, but I can recognize them. I can say Aleph Bet, the alphabet, or uh, Mem, Noon. Like I can look at them and like say, oh, I know that. And I do know that the Torah has a lot to do with the Bible, and there's a lot of stuff that they're talking about. It's the same thing because they came from the Torah, and then they had the new. I'm still trying to get this story. The New Testament versus the old one, but basically, I think that the Christians should really thank a lot of the Jews for the beginnings of how things started out, looking at the times 111. Um, so I don't understand it, but that's one of my goals. Actually, that's a good idea. I should probably go to a synagogue and ask somebody to teach me because it's a part of a heritage that I have that I do not know too much about. But as I get older, I'm learning a lot more. So, you guys on Telegram, if anybody's on there, I apologize. I cannot figure out for the life of me why I can't get the video started. I'm going to start my video on. Oh, this is hilarious. I'm going to start my video on Instagram right now where I'm doing a live if anybody's interested. Anybody that follows Instagram, does anything with Instagram, my name is It's The Shift with Gigi Star on Instagram, on TikTok, and on what do you call it again? YouTube. YouTube is It's The Shift, not with Gigi Star. My name is Gigi Star, and anybody that noticed it's the Star of David. Did you convert to Judaism? Trump for prison? I think I've seen you multiple times. Are you like a fan? Hello, are you a fan of mine? I appreciate it. Sometimes some people are like, why do you respond to trolls and all that kind of stuff? And it's like because they are people as well, and sometimes they get hurt and they don't have attention, and I recognize what's going on. But sometimes they follow me and they don't troll me. They actually have serious questions because I'm a serious person. If you understood it, you wouldn't be Jewish, trust me. I'm going to tell you something. If you understood it truly, you wouldn't be Jewish. No, the Torah is even Taylor. I don't know if you yourself are Jewish or brought up to be Jewish, but if you understood religions on a whole, you would tell people they should stop and start learning for themselves. But we're not going to go there. We're not judging people and what they follow. Especially, most people are following things that they have no idea the origins of. And if they actually took the time out, they would wake up and be like, oh, snap. Why are we doing this? The whole thing about every single time I come on here, I'm always talking about religions. The whole thing about religions, you were supposed to be, it's supposed to be teaching you how to be spiritual, but they don't do that. Not anymore. It's kind of changed. It's kind of changed from one idea to the next. And this is what happens all of the time. I think that because we have interconnection with internet, that it's quicker for people to start changing the meanings of things. Like word of mouth spreads way different than when it was back in the day. And so the message gets confused quicker than rather than when there was no internet or anything. People were spreading things from word of mouth. It takes a longer time. This is my hypothesis. But because of that, the rapid change of the definitions of things like this, you start to recognize there's a message that has been lost. And you see it in the things that are happening now in this day and age. The Torah is not evil. I'll tell you this: the way that people may be practicing what the Torah is supposed to be doing has turned it around than what it was originally. And I'll tell you this also, the word evil has been changed about as well. We don't even understand what that word is and how it came about. I'll give you a little quick thing about um, the word evil. It means it's backwards for live or live. And we understand what live or live means, right? Because that's what we're doing at this moment. When you are not doing that, you're going back in on yourself. And thus, it's better to turn the words backwards, EVIL. So you're not going, when you're living, you're expanding, but when you're no longer living, you're just contracting. And that's evil. And it is not meant in the way that we are saying it now, which is this whole other things. If I put the words to it, um, that we will understand, those words are not true to what it really is supposed to mean, but I'll say it anyway. Evil meaning dark, which is misunderstood. Um, dark, devil, all of these things. Satan, just foul, all these type of just terrible, perverse. Even the word perverse does not mean what it used to mean and what it was meant to mean and how we put it in the context now. Now, don't get it twisted. I am not a Satanist. I'm not somebody that believes in that sort of stuff because that's laughable. It's extremely laughable. And that's again Christianity putting us just ooh, let me just get off the whole Christianity thing because I'm not here to bash anybody, but I'm just saying the religions on a whole, every single last one of them have changed the meanings around because the people that were spreading the word didn't do it in the way that they were supposed to do it, which is in secrecy and traditionally, where you're teaching not massive, but you're teaching people together in a small group so that you can monitor and see if they're understanding what words are coming out of your mouth and what you're meaning and all that sort of stuff. So because things get really misconstrued. But when you start talking to a mass of people and you yourself don't understand what you're saying, a lot of stuff gets mixed up and messed up. Okay. Girl, don't be wearing that when you don't know the truth behind it. That's Taylor again, you guys. Um, Taylor telling me that I don't know the truth. I read books, and I don't read just the Bible. And I also like history. And that history, woo! I don't even think some of you guys may know this, but Christianity was outlawed, and the guy that made it okay, he wasn't a Christian, although they say he was when he was dying on his deathbed or like closer to the ends of his life. So funny though, after he decided to legalize it. It's another song for a whole other topic. When he started to legalize it, he decided to make a whole other country and named it after himself and had lots of pagan things, which is weird. Why would you do that if you're a Christian? And why do Christians celebrate a lot of things that are very led by paganism? Why do we have an Easter bunny? Where is that in the Bible? Please point that out to me. Anybody on YouTube that's watching me, please ask me any questions. I would love, love, love if you guys share any of the stuff if you guys like what I'm saying. So that spread the word, let people know that I actually am real. I do talk and I do answer questions, and I absolutely love helping people understand what manifestations are all about, how to make it happen. And I do not give you the fluff, I give you the real stuff. um okay, so this person, the topic, Brenda, topic is do you guys notice patterns that happen in your life? That's, by the way, um parts of manifesting. Sometimes we don't put it all together. We just think it's I want this one thing and then we get it. That's not how it works. There's a whole lot that goes into it. It's like a way of living. Somebody, a user 12562883333378 says hubby better have a meal ready for him when he gets home tonight. Now, this person whose name shall not be spoken because they are too afraid to say who they are hiding behind this user 1256 blah 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 blah. He's coming on here with the idea that he's dealing with a basic chick, and it's odd because he's coming from a basic guy perspective. Stop being basic, sir. Change your name. Present yourself as something, and stop being resentful over an idea that you're getting from misunderstood, misinformed young woman, and recognize that you're talking to Gigi Star. Gigi Star, who does not fit the mold and does not care about that. It's just nonsense. Husband home cooking? Sure, why not? You want a sandwich? What kind of sandwich you want? I'm gonna make buffalo wings. Is that what you want? I want some of that. Like, I don't care. We are a team because you're probably bringing home the bacon, and you're probably most likely, you know, got a lot of things that you want to be talking about, and we're partners. But get the whole gender war thing is a distraction, and it is a distraction from you getting to know who you are so that you can manifest the queen that you want in your life, and stop looking at young people, young girls, young ideas, young mindsets, especially from people who are presenting as older physically, but down here, up here, I mean, they're just not there. They're not there completely. And I've met a lot of grown men older than me where you're just like, you are a grown man, baby. You're following those people, user blah 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 12568222838, whatever. You're following these people, and they're leading you down a dark hole to nothingness. Get up and out, recognize who you are, discover where you want to be, and go for that. And then you will find the type of woman that you want. Okay. Oh, this guy's like, favorite meal to make for a man. So I'm talking to you, user 125 blah blah blah, because he's a troll, obviously. It's okay. I'm talking to you as if I have sense. I would hope that there'd be favorite conversation you'd like to have with your man, with your husband, because there's a lot more to offer. And hopefully he will recognize that the smarts that I have will actually help him with his legacy, which is his children. It's not money. You can't leave money, and it's never gonna, it doesn't, that don't make no sense. You gotta think. Your legacy is not the money. That's an additive. Your legacy is your children. And you want to have smart children. You don't want to have airheaded children. That's always a disaster. Um, you're very beautiful and sweet and serious. Oh, thank you, William. I'm going to tell you something about my seriousness. Um, I had bone cancer when I was younger. This is a very, very serious subject. Just, I'm telling you, this is my life. This is what happened. And I remember talking to some people about, like, when I met up with them afterwards when I, grew up, and they were like, "You were really serious." And I was like, "Oh, forgive me. I should have been talking about gossip and nonsense just like you guys were. Meanwhile, I was dying. I'm sorry, but that's just me, Scorpio, and very thoughtful, very curious. However, I can laugh at a joke. I love good jokes. I love laughing at jokes, and I have to be very careful with how I'm saying things on here, because my mind is like always music, words, and just scenes that flash in my mind, and it is not serious. But I'm sending a message to people out here, and there's lots of messages that are being sent out, however, misconstrued, and I really want to be extremely clear on what I'm saying. So, sometimes, like, okay, there's groups that coming on like MGTOW, Red Pill, and these people that are leading this, I'm sure a lot of the times are a lot more, they want to help, these young people, but they're not going through the going through the comments to recognize that their message is being misconstrued by a very warped young man's mind sometime, and they need to correct it and be like, hey. And same thing goes for the young women that talk about getting the bag and stuff like that. They have to be extremely careful on how they're saying it, but they're not. They're just busy trying to get some money. Boom, I got some people follow me. This is amazing. Your message is not being clear. So you have to be somewhat serious, very serious, and understand words and how to use them. Be somewhat of a wordsmith. And I mean, I'm not perfection, trust me. But I still understand that words have a lot of meaning. And those words, they carry vibrations which will manifest into your life. Somebody says, good vibes. Thank you. Hey, hey from Paris. Rafael Torres. Hey, that sounds like somebody I know. Hey, from Paris. You know what? I've been to Nice, France. I need to go back to Paris. Back to France. France. Français. Parlez-vous français? No français. Anglais. That's how I know it when I went there. I was like, oh, eh, anglais. Because you're like, I don't know what to say, but they're really nice about things. A lot of Americans come back and they say they were really mean. They were really nice to me. I had a really nice time. Uh, okay, wait. If you went to space and scooped space in a jar, what would be in the jar? Space. That's hilarious. Did you know that you can create somewhat of a space effect once you put the candle? Do a little experiment, a little science experiment, because space is like a big vacuum. Okay, you put a candle, some water, light the candle. Okay, say it again. Cup, candle, a basin or a bowl. Put some water in the bowl. Put the candle on there. You either make sure that the candle's sitting straight up after you burn like some wicks or wax on there so that it stays straight up. Light it, have the water in the bowl, put the cup on top. See what happens. That's a very pretty interesting thing, and it's like a example of space, which is a vacuum. Um, Thoughts on Will Smith and Jada Smith? My thoughts on that is there is a huge imbalance with gender polarity, and it is it's really sad. Will is a coward. Somebody says. Brenda Stewart. Will is has been forced into his feminine, and I think that with Jada and very deep in her masculine and sitting very comfortable there, it's just one of those things that I wouldn't want to be in. But you know, everybody has to learn whatever they need to learn for wherever they are in their life. You can look at that as an example of where you want to or not want to be, and go with that, and let him figure out what he's going to do for himself. And she is comfortable. So I know the experiment you're talking about. It's toxic. Really? The all 16? How is it toxic? Please explain that in detail. I'd like to read that. Oh, Will and Jada. I thought you were talking about the experiment. Okay. Okay. I thought you were talking about the experiment with the candle. Thanks for the clarification. Yeah, no, that's like a science experiment that I don't think lots of kids have done. Like, oh my gosh, you know what? Okay, so I used to do stuff with flying a lot. Okay, and one of the things that happens that on board when you go on those flights, they have dry ice, and the flight attendants were talking about not putting water to it because they're like it's dangerous, and it was like, have you guys ever been to a Halloween party? You see the bubbling water? Just don't inhale this. It's okay. They were like not they didn't know what happened when the dry ice got mixed with liquid, which is very interesting. I never understood that. And yes, Jada and Will Smith's situation for me would be toxic. I would not want to have that. However, that's where he is right now. If you're recognizing that as something, you might want to recognize patterns and see if that's something that's going on with you in your life, and how to rectify it. Because sometimes when you see things play out in your face, you're just like, oh, I never even realized. And then you're like, wait a minute, I've encountered something similar to this. What am I doing? What's happening? Um, A vacuum is the absence of things in space, but what is space? The substrate of reality. Okay, I'll take your word for that when it comes to the substrate of reality. But yes, you asked me what it would be there. I said space. So didn't I answer that correctly? I had to look up what you mean by their substrates in reality. I think I get what you're saying, but I don't know. Please clarify. I'll tell you this, you guys. I am not afraid to tell you I do not know what the heck you're talking about. Please explain it to me, and explain it to me in detail so that I can get it. You know what I mean? Because nobody likes somebody that's like, "Oh yes, I know that," and you're like, "You don't know nothing. You don't know anything. What are you saying?" Yeah, I'm not a faker. I'm not a favorite. Oh wait, cap. I just learned this word. That's cap. I hope I said it right in the right context. Please, young people, correct me if I have not. Please let me know. So, anybody recognize that they have patterns inside of their life that they actually want to get past, or like it's kind of alarming that you never realized it before until something just really hits you in the face? Where you're just like, oh, wait a minute. This is the same person, same personality, different person. What is happening? Okay, wait a minute. Very toxic, Brenda says, but what is bound to change? What is bound to change? You talking about their relationship, Will and Smith? I don't even know how we got into Will and Smith. Will Smith and Jada. I think because a troll was asking. Is that what you're saying, Brenda? Hey, Daisha. Wait, what? Daisha Lee. I hope I said that right, Daisha Lee. You know what? I wish that I knew the people that were on YouTube, because there's people sometimes on there that they just pop up and you don't get to say anything, or they don't say anything, they just watch and you're just like, I don't know who you are. What is your name? Please say something. I'm talking to you on Facebook or YouTube, not Facebook. YouTube, so that I know. Anyways, you guys, I got new flowers. Look at that. I love it. See it? Yay. Sunflowers. Sunflowers are my favorite flowers. I love sunflowers. I absolutely love them. I mean, I love roses, but sunflowers? I don't know. Unless there are bugs in it. I've had that to happen before. I got it from Trader Joe's and I was so enamored. I was like, look at my sunflowers. I'm so happy. You get that little joyful tingly thing. Woman, you know what I'm talking about. You're like, ah, right? Guys, they live for that, but they don't know it because society has not taught them to recognize it. So they're just too busy being blind by things and following the wrong people. But that, oh, I love it. And then a few days later, I saw these little white things on there. I was like, what is that? What is that? And I look up close and they're moving. Ah! Ugh, there's life everywhere. Life everywhere. If you knew the amount of life that you have in your body, ugh, you would be alarmed, but then you'd be very aware of what you are putting into your body and feeding the life, because you can very well put life inside your body that are like parasites, bacteria that you need, and then overcrowd it with bacteria and parasites that you do not need, and your whole entire crap is just totally not, it's out of balance, and that really really sucks. Now, going deep into manifestation, those are manifestations. um I don't know if anybody here knows anything about Neville Goddard, but he talked about being sick one time, and he says, I am a dilemma, according to the doctors, is what they were saying, because they couldn't figure out why he was sick. And he says, I know why, and I have to fix it within myself. And when he did that, he got better. And they were like, how? Changing your mindset, changing your focus. And yes, it's not that easy, but yes, it is possible. And this is where, depending on how you are or where you are in your life, you have to find out what is going to work for you. If you're going to go to a therapist, you need to recognize that that therapist can keep you stuck in that loop, and you can identify with whatever you say that you have and never move past it, although you're supposed to, because they tell you that you can't. And then they give you medications that tell you that they can, and then they actually can't, and they keep you stuck in a whole other loop. So then you have a whole other thing that just spirals out. So be aware of what therapist you're going to if you're going to go to a therapist. There are more and more therapists that have joined my Manifestation 101 class. That's 5 p.m. every Saturday. And they're into manifesting and they're recognizing the tie between the two. You might want to look for those people. They exist. Um, Kim Velez is one of them, actually. She doesn't even do therapy for anybody anymore. She just deals with that, which is, in my opinion, okay? So you figure out if you need it for therapy, if you need help with therapy, if you need help with trying to confront your fears in a whole other way, but it's all up to you to figure out what it is that you need to do and your path that you need to take, following the voice within your gut, following the stuff that's going on inside of you, and leading by that, and then going from there, learning how to trust yourself, and then all these things that you're doing will actually help you change that whole I have a problem here, and um, not label it and name it and give it more power as that, but say, yeah, I used to have that and now I don't do that anymore. People do this often. You know who do that? Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe had a stutter. She had a stutter. I don't think a lot of people knew that. I think that's probably why she talks so breathy and how she did, which is very strategic. If I can get the words out, strategic, because it helps you catch your breath. I used to have a student that had a really bad stutter. Um, I used to teach piano, and he had a bad stutter, and he would get really nervous, and I'd be like, "Take a deep breath," and he would do it, and his stutter would go away, and I was like, "Ah, I got it. Totally got it." So whenever he was with me and he would just go into the stutter, I'd be like, deep breath, and he would speak clear. I wonder if he ever fixed that. But Marilyn Monroe had that problem. It's a mental block. She fixed it herself. There's other blocks that this poor lady had. Trust me. If you ever look at her history, my goodness. But it can be fixed if you decide that you want to fix it for yourself. Hi there. Can I recommend you to buy a shampoo for hair loss? You know what? User 69988818632420, whatever that little sign is. Can I introduce you into putting at least a real name up so that, you know, you can say your snide remarks with some sort of chutzpah instead of being cowardly and hiding behind a no-named self? It's unattractive. I have hair. This is really my hair, just in case you're trying to be slick. I see your profile, and I think, no, you got a bandana on. I see it. You feel like you're really brave with that bandana. I expect you to just do that in regular life, and just it's unattractive. It's very unattractive. Okay, you are okay. So pay her no mind. Oh, thank you. Hello, Jewish Doja Cat. You know what? I think I like that. Doja Cat. I like how her mind operates sometimes. She's a bit immature, but I like the little she's out there. I like that. Thank you, Brenda. Brenda says I'm very beautiful. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Um, but I don't really pay mind to the because you got to keep this in mind. These are words on the screen, and the person doesn't even have a name, which says a lot about where they are in their mind. And that's not very far. And they're sad and they're lonely and scared. And they figure they can be big men or whatever, because this one's a man. I'm telling you by the color. I mean, not the color, by the bandana. Like, I'm bad. I'm bad. I'm bad, you know it. Shimon, and the whole world has to answer right now just to tell you once again who's bad with a bandana covering my face because I can't put my name out there and I can hide. I have to hide behind everything because I'm afraid I'm bad. No, you're not. No, you're not. Say that to my face. You know what would be bad if you found me and said it to my face, but you're not bad. You're a coward. So, yeah. But shout out to the trolls that actually started to follow me and actually started to come back because I've had some of them come back. They come back because they recognize that I'm not a bullshitter. I'm not capping or fronting or whatever it is. It's just a real thing. And I think that, they need some sort of attention and they don't know how to get it. Maybe if they stick around, they can figure out how to inspect themselves and get the attention that they need from themselves, and it will reflect back out to them and correspond. This is manifestation, and it's how it works. Anyways, you guys, it's I think that what. Oh, look, there's a yin and yang person that came on. Say hello, yin and yang. I don't know who you are. I guess you're gone, but I liked the icon. It was pretty cool. It was pretty darn cool. I liked it. But I'm gonna be doing this live one last time this month because tomorrow's the last day of this month. And then after that, I'm going to slow down my lives because it's taken a lot out of me having to do the lives every day, Monday through Friday, and then do the Manifestation 101 class, which is free at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't get time to do things that I really need to do, which is edit some of these things and make videos that I really want to make videos about with manifestation. If anybody has any questions or wants to know anything about manifestation and you don't know, please let me know. I was supposed to have a poll, and I don't even think that did the poll go through? I don't think it went through. I'm still trying to learn how to do this. But if there's anything that you actually want to talk about and you actually are extremely curious about, like, there is no judgment. There's a lot of stuff that people think that they know, and then they ask you a question, and then you recognize they absolutely do not know because they don't see how they cross over into the thing that they said that they know. um, and that is they can hold people back. But if somebody can actually speak to them and recognize what's happening, it can help them bring themselves out of the darkness and into the light. Oh my God, did I say something about the occult? Oh my God, that sounds like the definition of the occult. Well, it is. And this is also the whole definition of with the church, because I know people are going to be like, oh no, I'm a Christian sleeping with a gin because I like gin and whiskey, but I can't do that. Um, Pedro came back. He always tells me that God has accepted me, and I'm like, yes. Oh, he always talks about repenting of sins, but he never sticks around to even listen to my rebuttal. He just always goes away, speaking the misinformed doctrine of Christianity and never sitting around to understand what he's actually really saying, which is interesting. But Christianity and all the other things with the occult, they're talking about the same thing when they're saying the Holy Spirit and all that kind of stuff. You're getting circumcised. Oh my God. Taking that blanket off. You're not supposed to be cutting off the tips of men's penises because that means only men can be, enlightened. The wool is taken off that cap. No, somebody who didn't understand something and had somewhat of a sexual perversion decided that this was how it was supposed to be. And I've said this before because it didn't just come from Christianity. This came over from. I know that there's a Judaism going on, and I recall that they do that. They have a whole thing called a bris and everything, taking off the cap of the baby. Who decided it was okay to let a grown man do that to their baby? I'm not saying. Okay, I am saying what? Okay, it's like, what happened? Somebody along the lines misunderstood something, and then we have this. And there's a lot of stuff that goes on that messes with people's minds, and it's really messed up. There's a lot of people that I know that are homosexual that have had real messed up ideas about themselves, and it just hurts my heart. It hurts my heart, some of the things. There was a guy named Nuri who I actually had an interview with on my Instagram, and he came awake and he was like, I don't believe the stuff that they're telling me, because he grew up inside of like a really religious household. And I was like, yeah, don't. Please don't. That'll just further make you drown into the nothingness that they're putting you into. Think for yourselves. You're saying it. Oh, thank you. Um, so wait a minute. Team Tequila. You know what? I love me some Jose. Jose? Jose and me? We have some good times. You know what I mean? Like good times. Me and Jose. He's always there when I needed him. Him and Jimmy. And who else? Jack. I cannot forget Jack. These are my homeboys. But we weren't that familiar, so don't get it twisted. I don't spread myself thin like that and get loosey goosey. I know my limits. We have some times, and then that's it. But we have good memories when we spend time together. You get what I mean. Somebody said I didn't know that. Do tell. There, I think that they don't do justice when they talk about history in school, and you guys start getting interested in history. Really. I remember, okay, so right now we're going through this climate change thing. I recall, I don't even know what century it was, but they had paintings that they were doing indicating that it was winter. However, there was no snow. It was a bit warmer. Why? There's some things that happen in history with the warming of the climates in some ways. And then a few maybe decades later they had the winters like where there's like snow. That says a lot. Why don't we know about these things? I think that we should be thinking about that a lot more. And we should be thinking about how come things came to be. Did you guys know? Because I mean, does anybody here have yogurt? Anybody have yogurt? Please raise your hands. Raise your hands. You guys, anybody know yogurt? Can you spell yogurt? Have you smelled yogurt? Somebody say something, please. Okay. I'm going to assume that you guys know what yogurt is. And with that assumption, I'm going to assume that you go to the store and you buy it. And now you may be noticing that the prices are raising up and all that kind of stuff. And like, ew, why is it so high? Did you know that you can make your own yogurt? Did you know that it was extremely easy? It kind of circles me back to the beginning when I was talking about the organisms that are living in your body and the live cultures that are in the yogurt that would help if you have things like candida and all sorts of stuff that's going on in your body. You can take that and you can use those cultures from the yogurt, and they grow in the yogurt that you make from milk, preferably raw milk, but that's a whole other thing. And you can eat it and save a whole lot of money. You can take that raw milk and make your own butter. You can make your own everything, dairy, and know exactly where it came from. But, it takes a lot more time than getting up and going to the store and then coming back home. It might take a day. But if you started, at a certain hour and then it's done the same hour, you're just like, oh, okay, well, I'll have my fresh yogurt. Um, but we don't know how to do these things anymore. We don't know how to do it. You just get out of touch. It's very it's very alarming. And things get lost in history with that. You don't know how to make yogurt, so then you cannot teach your children yogurt. And then people like, I don't eat yogurt because there's too much fat in it, and it's just, I'm trying to watch my diet and all that sort of stuff, which is a lot more of misinformation. If you ever want to look that up, you might want to find out what's going on with the benefits of these things. And fermentation, um, which is now, I think, getting a bad rap as well, but and how important it is to have these things because of the organisms that live inside of your body that you want to support and the ones that you want to destroy. Got to be aware. Got to be aware. Um, but these things, if you become aware of them, then a lot more things will make sense, especially when it comes to manifesting. Manifesting is not a thing that you do once in a while. It is a way of being and recognizing and being sensitive, being sensitive enough to recognize the energies that are going on around you so that you can adjust them accordingly so you can fix your life the way that you want. So, with that being said, I did ask if anybody noticed any patterns, but again, this is TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and I don't have that big of a following yet, so maybe eventually people will start to answer and take time to reflect. Or maybe they just want to just hear things and ponder. But it would be cool if I actually heard people's patterns. But I guess that's what the groups on Facebooks are for. Facebook? Fake book. Anyway, that's what those are for. People are like talking about their deepest, darkest secrets inside of their little secret societies on their groups. But on here, people are not trying to do all that, I guess. It's TikTok. It's Instagram. It's YouTube. I don't know. Anyways, you guys, I am heading off. It's almost like 47 minutes and I am done. Oh, I love listening to new information. Brenda, I totally appreciate it. And guess what? I think that you should do. Double check what I'm saying. Don't just listen to me. Figure out, is this right? If I do that experiment with the candle, the water, and the glass and the bowl, what will happen? What goes on? What is that? That's very fascinating if you have that kind of mind. But why? What is that? And go from there. Find out about other things in history. Don't just listen. That one guy that was like, "Do you know?" Well, they were very smart. A vacuum is the absence of things in space, but what is space? The substrate of reality. Okay. He's got big scientific words. I understand the first half, but then the substrate of reality, don't know it. I asked him to explain it to me. I have to look it up actually. I'm going to have to look up substrate of reality, figure out what he's meaning, and then I can be able to rebuttal. But the problem is you want to look smart, but you're not. You're not looking smart. You're just looking snobbish. It's kind of like, well, explain what you mean. If you don't know, and you're on here, then you have no idea, and you're thus ignorant, and I shall shut you down. And then he left thereafter. I'm smarter than you. I'm smart. I'm so smart. But didn't try to explain. That's never a good thing. That don't work too well in life either. And I think that's something that happens, like, especially with the political polarities that are going on right now. I asked somebody to define what they meant because they said some words that I had never heard before put in a sentence. I understood the words individually, but not put in a sentence as and didn't understand what this person meant. Just was like, ugh, I don't even want to. If you look it up, bitch, you're in front of me. I'm not going to look it up. I'm asking you to explain what you mean. Define what you mean. If you want me to look it up, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to find it because this is a new word. And I'm pretty hip and cool. Dugga dugga dugga. if anybody likes Dr. Evil from Austin Powers, I'm okay with doing with like talking to people and trying to understand what they're talking about. But oh, the circumcision. But yeah, I I need you to explain what you mean with these words that you're saying. And I'm not going to look it up because I know it's not going to be there because this is a brand new thing, a new ism that's coming out. I've heard it probably three other times since, but I'm like, oh, okay, doesn't make sense. But he did explain it, but he was just like annoyed. And it's like, you can't be annoyed and then expect me to follow along with you and be upset if I don't follow along with you and stick with my guns of what I know, because then I'm going to refuse to enlighten myself and remain in my ignorance. And you're not helping the situation and you're not helping your plight. So I'm shocked about circumcision. Okay, so if you're looking up circumcision, you're going to find all the stuff that's going to be on Google. Google likes to just shut down a whole lot of stuff, and you're not going to understand the spiritual aspect of it. Neville Goddard was really good with explaining that one. Whew! And Joseph Murphy. I like Joseph Murphy a lot. They explain circumcision and what it was supposed to mean versus when people take a book literally when there's supposed to be allegory and story tales in there to help you understand. Why voice so deep? Tony Jones, 3583, because I'm a grown ass woman. And those little young years where my little, whatchamacallit, is like stretched to the nines and I'm able to do my Mariah Carey. Those days are gone. And so thus you have this here, a fully grown woman with a deep ass Beyonce voice. Okay? If you do not like it, then maybe you should find one of those other young girls that have a very high voice that can speak to you, Mariah Carey. Maybe you want to hear baby talk if that's what's going on. Tony Jones. Um, oh, hey, have a nice day. You missed it. I'm about to get off right now. My grocery shopping was great. I got a bunch of stuff and I'm happy that I went. I had my frills on. Yay! Shaking the shimmy. Shaking. Is that high enough for you, Tony? Tony. Tony, 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 it does it again. I don't know if you know that. You're probably too young. Tony had a song called Feels Good. Yeah, yeah. It feels good. Oh, it feels good. Anyways, you probably would know nothing about that. I'm going to hang up this thing now. So, oh wait. Well, I hope you have a great rest of your day too. You're coming back tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be my last day on doing this back to back because I made an announcement earlier. This is taking too much of my time. I have a lot of things I have got to edit and feel into my feminine. Maybe that's why my voice is so deep because I'm so much in the masculine trying to express and explain to people about what's going on. Tony, you know it. Oh, you do know it. Tony Jones, if you know them, then you would understand that what you said about why my voice in broken grammar, by the way, and let me point that out. Why voice so deep? I'm like, do you speak is English your first language? You would understand that that was not called for. You didn't have to do it. It was really mean and unnecessary, sir. Um, we know it for sure. Oh, I'm so glad you guys know that song. Your voice didn't feel good to me. You know what, Tony? You got to toughen up sometimes. Get some cojones, and be like, you know what? This doesn't feel good to me, but I'm a deal because what they're saying to me makes a lot of sense. Because you're still on here, that's why I'm saying this. That's the only reason why I'm saying it. Because you're still on here interacting with me. That says a lot. Oh, what am I having for lunch? Nothing right now. I'm doing bone broth. Um, Gotta get that collagen up. Gotta get the face. Gotta look. Whatever. There's somebody that I know that has she's got what is it, a little thing, and she's always like, oh my god, it's terrible. And I'm like, the jowls are just, and she wants to put filters on. I'm like, why are you doing this? Build up your collagen, do stuff like that, and it helps. You're in shape though, thank you very much. And I've got a sense of humor. Please remember that because I went along. Oh yeah, Tony Jones. He's old enough to know about Tony, but still in his childlike mind talking about my hairline. I don't have a far back hairline. I have a very large forehead. I've got a six head, as a matter of fact, and it's really great to make sure that if I wear a wig, that it'll be on and I won't ruin my hairline. However, all this is my hair. It's just time to wash. You probably should check my other lives out and recognize that I have lots of hair and long hair with a large forehead. That is my beauty spot. And thank you very much for noticing. He said 10 head. That's very funny. But not that funny actually. It's actually unoriginal. Think about something else. Like you could be like, she's got a ram head, like she looks like she's a ram. She could do all. I better be careful before she headbutts me. Like, come up with something. Do something. Don't be basic. Um, you got a lot on your mind. Yeah, yeah, and so do you. And you're hurting. So you came on here because maybe you find me attractive. And maybe you think this type of girl has no sense. And if she did, she wouldn't want me because I'm undesirable. And so I'll come on here and I'll troll her and say something. At least she's responding back to me, something that I could never get in real life from this person that I perceive as being out of my league because I have a low self worth. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't be saying anything about how she looks. If your name is Tony Jones and you're talking like this, either you're a woman or you're a man and you're feminine. That says a lot. So, anyways, now that I've read you your rights, Tony Jones, feels good. Yeah, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you. Thank you guys for sticking around. And thank you. I'll be back again tomorrow. My last day doing back to back. The next month, I'm going to be doing like Monday, Friday, and then I'll have my manifestation in 101. Or maybe I'll do Monday, Wednesday. I don't know. But I can't do every day because I got things, as Tony says, I've got a lot on my mind. And not you, Tony, because you're not you. Eh. Bye. That was hilarious. And then he came back with, go eat a buffet, you bitch. Tony, get out of your bitch mode. It's unattractive. I'm still live on other stuff. And that's why no woman wants you. And that's why you're on here doing that. It's hilarious how these things play out. Okay, bye, you guys on Instagram. And goodbye. Goodbye. Telegram and